Looming over the roaring Tequendama Falls in Colombia stands a place of decaying grandeur and dark legends, the Hotel del Salto. What began as a luxury getaway for Bogotá Pier Azalet in 1928 has since earned a much more sinister reputation, a magnet for despair where the thunder of the water below is said to drown out screams that still echo from its balconies. Picture this, a stunning Gothic revival palace perched on a cliff, overlooking a powerful, misty cascade. It was the epitome of romance and luxury. But by the 1950s, the story took a horrifying turn. Guests would check in, captivated by the view, but some never checked out. They were drawn to the railings, leaping into the abyss below, seemingly pulled by an invisible force. Official records document over 100 deaths, many of them completely unexplained. No notes, no known history of depression, just bodies recovered from the churning water hours later, their faces said to be frozen in an eerie calm. What was luring them to their doom? Was it toxic fumes from the polluted river causing hallucinations? Or was it something much darker, etched into the very stones of the hotel? As urban explorers, we couldn't resist the pull of this mystery. We arrived at midnight, armed with cameras and flashlights. The hotel stood before us, a decaying skeleton of its former self. Windows were shattered like broken promises, and thick vines clawed at the walls, as if nature itself was trying to reclaim the cursed structure. Our flashlight beams cut through the dust-choked air of the grand lobby. A once magnificent chandelier dangled precariously, and the faded wallpaper peeled back to reveal water stains that disturbingly resembled grasping hands. We made our way up the grand staircase, each creak of the wood echoing in the suffocating silence. The air grew thick and cold, our breath turning to fog in the unnatural chill. On the upper floors, balcony doors, which had been hanging slightly ajar, suddenly slammed shut with a deafening bang, even though there wasn't a breath of wind. We cautiously peered over the edge of a balcony into the darkness below, and that's when we saw it. The silhouette of a woman, pacing on a lower terrace. Her dress billowed in a non-existent breeze, and as she turned to face us, we saw only hollow, empty eyes before she dissolved into the mist. Our hearts pounded as we scrambled back inside, only to be met with a new terror, the sound of footsteps echoing from the empty halls. The distinct click-clack of heavy heels on marble, circling us, getting closer and closer. We pushed deeper into the hotel, finding guest rooms frozen in time. Suitcases lay half-packed on dusty beds, and mirrors were smeared with handprints that looked like they were pressed from inside the glass. One door was jammed shut. We had to force it open. Inside, we found an old yellowed diary. The entries grew more frantic with each page, with one chilling line. "The water calls my name. It knows my sins." The final page was blank, but it was wet to the touch, the ink from the previous page bleeding as if it had just been written. Soon, whispers joined the footsteps pleas for help in Spanish. "Ayadame," growing into sorrowful wails. Our flashlights cast shadows that stretched and twisted into unnatural, elongated shapes. Lockers rattled violently, and doors were pounded on from the inside. Reviewing our camera footage later, we saw dozens of orbs swirling in the air, far too large and deliberate to be dust. The locals had warned us. They believe the ground is cursed. Some say the river, poisoned by upstream industrial waste, causes hallucinations that drive people to jump. Others whisper of the restless spirits of those who died here, forever trying to lure new victims to join them, to balance some ancient, unpaid debt. We fled as the first light of dawn broke, shaken to our core. When we reviewed all our footage, we saw glitches and distortions, with ghostly faces momentarily superimposed over our own. Our research after the visit only confirmed the horror. The suicides peaked in the 1970s, with so many bodies piling up that authorities eventually sealed off large sections of the hotel. It was converted into a museum in 2019, a place to observe the falls from a safe distance. Yet even now, there are stories of overnight staff vanishing from security logs, only to reappear hours later, dazed and with no memory of the missing time. The Hotel del Salto is not abandoned, it's waiting, it's hungry, and its tragic past is rooted even deeper than we thought. Archaeologists digging near the foundation unearthed ancient indigenous graves that were disturbed during the hotel's construction. It's said their guardians are now the eternal, unwelcoming hosts. So I have to ask, would you book a night? Because at this hotel, the falls don't just roar, they remember every single soul they've claimed. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as chilling as we did, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for more explorations into the world's most haunted places.